Okay, hello everyone, Zachary Dickinson here, and welcome to my YouTube channel here. This is my first upload, so it's gonna be awkward for me and whoever ends up watching this. So my channel is reading, watching TV, reviews and such about that, and periodic or infrequent updates about what I'm writing, stuff like that. So into this video, I'll be going over my ideal, probably not realistic in any way, reading goal for the rest of this year, which is literally a month and a week, and this is not achievable, but I want to try to read it. So currently, I am reading through a book called Experiencing God, which will appear over here at some point. It is a book where Richard Blackaby wrote it originally, but it's the special edition of 20th year anniversary where his son and another person also helped write part of it as well. And it just goes over his experiences while he's walking in a relationship with God and being a pastor at many different places in life. And he's giving advice and all that. The other book I'm currently reading, I am very big into Star Wars, and it's pretty much what takes up probably at least a fourth of my reading every single year. It's The Glass Abyss, which is a Star Wars book, which I believe came out earlier this year. And it takes place shortly after The Phantom Menace, where Mace Windu is following up on blanking here. On a score to settle. He lost a bet with Qui-Gon Jinn, and so he has to do a favor for him. And so he goes to a planet that the surface is not able to be livable, and he has to go through the three main factions to decipher through some type of war or possibility of war. I'm reading this because, well, it's Star Wars. Not much else reason for that. But this particular because I've been reading some books that are kind of in the prequel era. Others like Master and Apprentice and Brotherhood. Two other books I recently read. And I just saw this one and I kind of picked it up. So the other two Christian books, so I read one book that's basically fantasy, sci-fi, or something like that. Another book I read is a Christian book. Christian book I read a little bit less because it's harder to understand for me. So, but and so it takes longer. The fantasy books kind of depends on how fast I get into them and stuff. So the other two Christian books that I will be reading this year, I have them right here, is A Mind Awake by C.S. Lewis. I don't really know what it's about, to be honest. It's just a book by C.S. Lewis, and he's just such a prolific author that I kind of picked it up. It's an anthology of C.S. Lewis, so I think it's encapsulating many parts of his different works. And then I think this other one, No Wonder They Call Him Savior by Max Lucado. Hope I said that right. I have no clue if I did. It's a great title, and I think I wanted to read this after I heard about this book through another book. I don't remember. But those are the two books that I want to read Christianized for the rest of the year. And when I start them, I'll start A Mind Awake in a week. I don't really know how that'll go. It's in 7 sections, so I don't really know. No Wonder They Call Him Savior has 2 chapters, but who knows? Now, as for the other books, most of it is Star Wars. I am a Star Wars nerd. Then they are 2 other fantasy series. So Star Wars, The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, I don't really know what this is going to encapsulate. I know the general gist due to the title, but it'll appear here at some point, I guess. But yeah, it just seemed interesting. It's rather one of the longer Star Wars books. It's nearly five, it's like 490 pages. Which honestly, about a year ago, I would have said that was long. However, I just wrapped up reading the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, which we'll go over here some. And that was between 500 and 600 or so pages, like each book. So it kind of depends. The next bit of Star Wars books that I'll read is the collection of Star Wars books from the High Republic Phase 2. I read Phase 1 already. Phenomenal. I'll talk about that in another video. Is a collection of Phase 2. It specifics certain ones because I'm not reading every single one because not every single one of them is for me. Some of them are audiobooks. I don't do audiobooks, mostly because I just haven't done one yet. But they're mostly young adult or adult fantasy kind of ones. And they are, I'll just list them out. I don't know what they are. I know Phase 2 takes place like 100 or 150 years before Phase 1. So it'll be a different jump and a lot of different characters. I haven't gone to looking at where in the timeline Phase 3 happens, but I will be reading that next year or 2027. Who knows? But the Phase 2 books are Path of Deceit, Quest for the Hidden City, Convergence, Cataclysm. Those seem like the most interesting ones. Quest for Planet X, interesting title, and Path of Vengeance. Now, the next set of books that I'll be reading are the Arc of a Scythe, which I think the premise of these, which is just a trilogy of books, is they've managed to they're basically like they hold scythes, a big old scythe thing, and they like monitor death in some way. And they like nearly ended death, kind of, I think, or something like that. This I've seen before in a few things of recommending, but mostly one of my friends recommended it to me a few years ago, and it's been sitting on my TBR for a while. And that's just a trilogy. It's Scythe, Thunderhead, and The Toll. Then the last three books, which yes, this is what, like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 15 books. This is very much not realistic. But the last three books is three books from the Inheritance Games universe. I read the original trilogy of it following Avery Graham's. And that was phenomenal. And now I want to read more. And so Brothers Hawthorne is one, and so it'll follow two of the brothers, Jameson and Grayson, I believe. They'll be following them through some type of mission or something like that. And another two is Grandest Games and Glorious Rivals, which basically, if you read the initial trilogy, is like a new Inheritance Games kind of thing for like a new set of characters that Avery herself goes like, well, I don't really feel like having this much money. She still ends up with a lot of money, but she's like, I'm gonna give it away in this like tournament or competition or something like that, and that's what these two are. The third, and I think it's just a trilogy, I'm not sure, but the third one comes out next year. The second one came out this year, so I'm very much looking forward to those, and that'll be a lot of fun. And so that is all. So hope y'all have a blessed day, and see y'all next time.